everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your mentor today as we take some really exciting first steps into the world of programming. Seriously, if you're a first-year programming student, or honestly just someone curious about how software actually works, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to go through a friendly, step-by-step introduction to programming in Java. We're breaking things down so they are incredibly easy to understand, and we'll be relying on some crystal clear concepts to guide us along the way.
So, I gotta ask, are you ready to write a program that actually talks back to you? Up until now, you might have just looked at static code that kind of sits quietly on a screen. But today, we're transitioning from just reading code to creating something truly interactive. We're going to build a program that listens to what you type and actually responds. It's a huge milestone, and I promise you, it's way easier than it sounds.
Okay, here is our learning roadmap for your first day. We'll start with storing data with variables, then move into getting interactive user input. After that, we'll cover clarifying your code with comments, followed by generating external code guides, and finally, we'll put it all together with your very first Java program. All right, let's hit stop number 1, storing data with variables.
Before a program can interact with anybody, it needs a sort of short-term memory to remember things, right? A variable is simply a named storage location in that memory. To make this super easy to grasp, just picture a physical storage box. When you create a variable, you're basically taking an empty box, slapping a label on the outside so you know what's in it, and then telling Java exactly what kind of item is allowed to go inside. And in Java, before you can use one of these boxes, you absolutely must declare it first. Just look at how beautifully simple this is in code. On that first line, we write int, which is just short for integer, to declare a number type variable named age, and we drop the number 42 right inside it. On the second line, we use a string type, which is really just Java's way of saying text, to create a variable called name, and we store the word David inside that one. And hey, notice how both lines end at the semicolon? That's literally just Java's version of putting a period at the end of a sentence. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand where these variables live, what programmers call their scope. We have local variables and global or instance variables. Think of a local variable kind of like a temporary sticky note you slap on your desk while working on a specific task. It only exists inside a specific method, it has a super short lifetime, and it's thrown away the second you're done. A global or instance variable, on the other hand, is like a giant bulletin board in the middle of the room. It's declared inside the class but outside the methods, meaning everyone in that class can see it. Plus, Java even gives it a default value automatically if you happen to forget. Okay, moving right along to section 2, getting interactive user inputs. So we know how to store data ourselves, but how do we get the user to fill those storage boxes for us? Well, in Java, we use something called the scanner class to basically listen to the user. It's a built-in tool, and there are 3 exact steps you need to use it. Step 1, import the scanner class so Java knows you actually want to use it. Step 2, create a scanner object, which is essentially just flipping the on switch for the tool. And step 3, actually take the user's input. Scaffold your learning around these 3 little steps, and for sure you'll never get lost. The absolute key takeaway here is that user input bridges the gap between your logic and the human sitting at the screen. When you use scanner methods like nextInt to read a number or nextLine to read text, your program literally hits pause. It just stops what it's doing and patiently waits for the user's keyboard strokes. It's actively listening to the outside world. And here is the magic line of code that creates our scanner object. It says, scanner myvar equals new scanner, and then system.in inside parentheses. As your mentor, I really want to reassure you here. If this line looks a little intimidating with all the capital letters and punctuation, don't sweat it. This is simply the standard exact phrase you use to turn on the keyboard listener in Java. System.in just means standard input, which is your keyboard. Honestly, as a beginner, you can just copy and paste this, and you'll naturally understand the deeper mechanics as you gain more experience. That brings us to section 3, clarifying code with comments. Here's a secret. Professional programmers don't just write code for computers. They write it for other humans to read. As our source material perfectly states, the purpose of including comments in your code is to explain what the code is doing. Comments are non-executable statements. That means the Java compiler completely 100% ignores them. They won't slow down your program, and there's no way they'll change how it runs. But they are an absolutely crucial best practice for debugging, tracking your own logic, and just providing overall clarity. So let's look at how we actually write these. First, we have single-line comments. You just type 2 forward slashes and boom, Anything after that on the exact same line is ignored. It's fantastic for quick little trailing notes right next to a variable. Then we have multi-line comments, also known as block comments. You start these with a forward slash and an asterisk, and you end them with an asterisk and a forward slash. This setup lets you write whole paragraphs of text, which is absolutely perfect for explaining complex logic blocks without having to type slashes on every single line.
Next up, Section 4, Generating External Code Guides. Java actually has a third, very special type of comment that does something incredibly powerful. Behold the documentation comment, or what we usually call a doc comment. Notice the syntax here. It starts with a forward slash, but then it has 2 asterisks. You place these very carefully in your code, usually right before declaring a class or a method. They're specifically used to describe the specifications of the code from a high level. And here's why these are practically a superpower. Java has this built-in tool called Java Doc. When you run it, it magically extracts all those special double asterisk comments and generates completely separate, fully formatted HTML web pages. It creates an instant external guide. That means other programmers on your team can learn exactly how to use your code just by reading a clean web page, without ever needing to dig through your raw source code files. It's an absolute standard in professional projects. All right, the moment of truth. Section 5, your first Java program. We are putting it all together. You now know how to store data, turn on the keyboard listener, and write comments. Just look at this beautifully simple code. First, we have our scanner line that turns on our keyboard listener. Then, on the next line, we print out myvar.nextLine. In this single line, the program pauses, uses next line to wait for you to type a string of text and hit enter, and then immediately prints it right back out to your screen. Even if the exact syntax feels brand new today, you now understand the core mechanics of what is happening under the hood. You've officially written interactive code. And wow, that wraps up our explainer for today. We've literally gone from setting up empty storage boxes to capturing real-time human input. So I want to leave you with this one thought. Now that you can successfully capture user input and document your logic cleanly, what interactive program are you going to build next? The foundation is entirely yours now. Keep experimenting, keep coding, and I'll see you in the next explainer.